Get ready with me while I tell you about the worst date I've ever been on. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this was either like my junior or sophomore year of high school. It was one of like the first like more realer dates that I've ever been on, and this is why it was so bad. So the date first started when he picked me up, and we kind of just sat in his car for literally like 10 minutes trying to figure out what to do because like neither of us had made a plan, and I kind of just like assumed that he was making it because he was like, oh, I'm gonna come pick you up. And first dates are always just so awkward, and you never want to like give your opinion or like give your idea first because like what if they judge you, you know? So after literally 10 minutes, I finally was like, okay, let's just go get food. And obviously we had to sit here and talk about where we wanted to get food, and I was like, okay, like there's a pasta place down the street, let's just go there. And he's like, okay. So we go to the pasta place and we both get dinner, and like I'm just kind of already getting like a little bit icked out by like things he's doing. And here is where the best part happened. We had talked a lot about stuff because we had been snapping for like months before we actually like went on this date. Basically, I had like gathered the details that all of his money was through his parents, and he didn't have a job and never had a job, and currently like I was working a lot to like afford for my lifestyle. And so the check comes, and he kind of just like sits there and like stares at me, and like I obviously know how like first dates go. Like I feel like in the normal world, like usually, not all the time, but usually the man is like supposed to pay. And so we kind of just sat there for a little bit, and I didn't want it to be awkward, and I genuinely don't mind paying. Like I really don't care. And so I was like, oh, like it's been sitting there for like a few minutes. And so I was like, oh, do you want to just like split it? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, okay. Because I don't think he was gonna say anything about it, you know? But anyways, so I was like, yeah, let's just split it. And he was like, oh yeah, sure, okay, great. So I get out my wallet, and I was like, okay, let's wait until, you know, the server comes back so we can split it. He goes, oh, how about you just pay and I'll pay you back? And I was like, okay, sure. So I paid my bill, his bill, and the whole tip. And like, honestly, I didn't mind because he was paying me back, but I still was just kind of like weirded out by it. So then I was like, oh yeah, like if you want to just like Venmo me, like that would be perfect. And he's like, oh, can I just give you cash? And like me, like I hate cash. I will never spend it. It will stay in my wallet for forever, which I guess is not a bad thing. But like if I'm going to pay something on a credit card, I want something to be returned on my credit card. And so like, you know, this is the first date. It's already awkward. And I was like, okay, yeah, like sure, you can just pay me in cash. You guys are going to be blown at what I am about to say. He pulls out his wallet and he gives me $23 in $1 bills. 23 ones. And I'm like, okay, what? Like, is he like secretly a stripper? Like what? I mean, obviously no, but like, why do you literally have so many ones like in your wallet? So obviously I'm already annoyed at this whole thing, but then to pay me in literal all ones, like, I don't know. I thought that was crazy. But you know, I was just like, it's fine. Like, it's a first date. Like, yeah, I'm going to have to be carrying out a wad of cash in my back pocket because I literally didn't bring a purse or anything. But, like, it's fine. Maybe the rest of our date will go better. Y'all, it literally gets worse. And, like, just a reminder, like, it's not the fact that he didn't pay. Like, I don't care. It's the fact that, like, also his parents didn't, like, tell him how to, like, properly take a girl out. I don't know. I feel like there's just things that you're supposed to follow when you, like, actually like a girl. And so, I don't know, maybe he thought I was hideous when I got into the car and said, F this. But then the date continued. We got back into his car, and we just, like, went for a little drive, and we were just trying to figure out more things to do. And after a little bit, we decided to get ice cream. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, fun. Like, I love ice cream, sure. We go to this ice cream place downtown. And I guess all of his friends, like, worked there, and that's why he picked the place. I don't know. I've been there a few times, though, before, and it was good, so, like, I didn't really care. And so we go in line, and we get our ice cream, and he's, like, talking to his friend, and I'm not really, like, connecting yet that, like, they're friends. And I go to the register, and the lady asks him, like, how he's paying today or whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm covered. And she's like, oh, okay, because, like, his friend, like, gave it to him for free. And so I had to pay for my ice cream. But, like, whatever, like, that's fine. Like, whatever, like, it's fine that I had to pay for my ice cream. But it's, like, the fact that he literally got a free one, and then I still had to pay for mine, and he didn't, like, offer. Which, like, I don't know about that. But, I think the main part about me was, like, the ones. Like, that's fine. Like, I will pay for my own stuff on my first date. But it was, like, the fact that, like, all of this happened, like, all at once, you know? So obviously after all of this, I'm like frantically texting my friend, like, come pick me up. This is actually the worst date I've ever been on. Like, you need to come pick me up right now. And I kind of just like slipped away. I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm just gonna leave, because he was just hanging out with his friends at the ice cream place. He wasn't even talking to me. And he was like, oh yeah, like, I'd love to see you again. And like, he texted me later that day. He was like, that was such a great like first date. Like, I had a really good like time with you. Like, I'd love to hang out again. No, I'm never speaking to you again. And after my friend picked me up, we went to her house, and I was kind of telling her mom's friend about it. That's a guy, and he was sitting here like jaw dropped, and he was like, what? He did what? He did what? And so I was like gaslighting myself into thinking that like I was in the wrong. But I had a lot of people tell me that like I wasn't, and like that was like literally a crazy date. But yeah, anyways, that was my worst date. And if you guys have things that top that, please put them in the comments, because I love reading that stuff.
Put a finger down if you just had to fight a couple days ago in your own apartment because your boy bestie that you've been best friends with since childhood, his girlfriend comes over while you're sitting on the couch. She's jiggling the door handle trying to break into your apartment, didn't call you, didn't text you, didn't tell you she was coming. She comes over jiggling the door handle trying to get in. And you open the door, she didn't know you were inside, and you're like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you trying to break into my apartment right now? Then she tells you some bullcrap excuse saying, oh, I forgot something when we all hung out earlier. I need to find it, saying every excuse in the book trying to get into your apartment. And then you tell her, well, just tell me what it looks like or what it is that you lost and I can look for it. And she says no, and then pushes you hard as hell trying to get into your apartment. And then y'all end up fighting in the doorway, neighbors here trying to break us up, trying to break us apart, calling the cops, trying to figure out what's going on. And then she says, oh, and I'm pregnant. What? I thought I was gonna find my boy best friend in your apartment trying to cheat on me with you. And you're like, are you delusional? We've been best friends since childhood. Why would we do that? And then turns out she's just highly emotional because she's pregnant. And then you actually find out a couple weeks later that she had been talking behind your boy best friend's back to her dad this whole time, and they've been sleeping together for months, and he didn't know. And she was also talking to a bunch of other people in the area, which he didn't know until he looked through her phone one day. And then he told me that he looked through her phone. He called me on FaceTime, showed me all the messages, showed me the pregnancy test through the messages with his dad. And then it turns out that she was just highly emotional and fighting her own demons, and she was, messing around and feeling guilty about getting pregnant by his dad, and she didn't know what to do. So she came to fight you because she was jealous of something that was never happening. And now they're not together because she was pregnant by his dad, and his dad and him probably never going to talk again. And you knew that actually in a couple weeks he was thinking about proposing to her, but now that's never going to happen because 1, she's pregnant by his dad, and 2, she's crazy as hell.